Welcome back to LEGO Wars and this year's round of 16. Last time out we had upsets galore as both the 2nd and 3rd ranked machines King B Cubed and Duck crashed out alongside the 4th seeds Mega Bowser and the series favourites Bricker Brother. We're left with 16 of the very best LEGO machines, so let's remind ourselves of the survivors.
First, from Brighton and seeded number 5, 2 Jeff 2 Fabulous.
They broke my heart last week tactically taking out Sweepy, but the weapon seems to be finally working again and just in time for a good run.
From Hinkley, 23 Red.
The dual disc spinner took out the 8th seeds to progress and appears to be growing in confidence the further they go.
From Manchester and seeded number 20, Agro Wobber.
The blue boy confirmed their place as the best hammerbot in the last round, but in a field of dangerous weaponry they need to show that axes can still cut it.
From Great Yarmouth and seeded number 2, Atlas.
The 2 seeds are still reliably bulldozing through their opponents and look on course to continue their perfect top 4 finishing record.
From Brisbane in Australia and seeded number 7, Chompy Evo.
The Aussie bot had a much more commanding performance against Tin to be here. They have never failed to make a quarter-final.
From Glasgow, Crossbow.
The rollercoaster season continues for the Green Machine after toppling the King last week. Do not underestimate this reserve's chances of making the grand final.
From Dublin in Ireland, Deator.
The machine from the Emerald Isles luck continued last time out with the pit malfunctioning, but they'll still need to have more in the tank to continue in these uncharted waters.
From New York in the USA, Emulator.
One of a band of giant killers from the last round, Emulator toppled the 4th seeds despite losing their weapon, and if they can repeat that level of determination, they could go all the way.
From and seeded number 19, Megalovania.
The bone bar spinner destroyed Weldle to move on, but those front wedges failed along the way, and surely that will be their eventual downfall.
From New Hampshire in the USA, seeded number 16, P1.
The sturdy racer is back at the top 16 again, and with less firmware this year they could go very far.
From Virginia in the USA, Pain.
They decimated Nightmare in under a minute to move on and continue to spread fear amongst the remaining competitors.
From Cumbraland, seeded number 3, Panic Attack.
The number 1 ranked machine laboured to victory in the dying seconds against Block Lobster, but after the demise of Bricker Brother, they're the favourites to retake the crown.
From Annapolua in the Netherlands, seeded number 12, Petunia.
The veteran crusher fell at this hurdle last year, and looking at their matchup tonight, they'll need to pull out their best performance yet to not stumble again.
From East Harling, Shatterstar.
They produced one of the biggest upsets in the bracket last time to beat the highly fancied Bricker Brother to advance, and looking at how open their side of the bracket is, the sky's the limit.
From California in the USA, Tantrum.
One of the heroes from the last round after taking out the reigning international champs, Tantrum has the momentum to upset the odds once more tonight.
From Bournemouth, seeded number 1 and reigning champion, Waddle D2.
The champs weren't overly impressive in their win over Mingo, however this is the same form they had last year and we all know how that went. We'll begin the action tonight in the bottom left hand corner where the dangerous Pain will face the lucky Deator, so let's crack on with the fighting.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
You gotta feel bad for Deator here, seeded 13th in the bracket. It's certainly unlucky for them as Pain immediately causing horrendous damage out of the side of Deator. Look at that, half the robot's armour is gone in one hit. But, to be fair to them, they are coming in on the aggressive and using their bucket scoop effectively there. Oh! That's another eye. Some more armour plating. But they are using their bucket very strategically. They've raised it into the air and are using it almost as a shield here. They know for a fact that Pain can't do that much damage to their weapon. And they are on the aggressive here, Deator. So fair play to them, although they are currently getting stuck on their own body parts. The pit release button's been pressed. Do they think they can get Pain down the pit? Probably not, in all honesty. But hey, it's nice to be optimistic, isn't it, in LEGO Wars? It's flying everywhere. Oh dear, Deator though, on the attack still, actually now trying to lift Pain into the air here, and Pain's spinner has stopped. Does that mean the weapon is broken, or are they just stopping it whilst they were pinned towards the sidewall? They were just stopping it there, look, because they're bringing it back up to speed now. Deator have been absolutely splattered, but to be fair, they are still moving, they're still going. Are they after that shot, I wonder? The wheels are spinning, yes, I think they got stuck on the spikes, they did, they've now got away from the spikes. Trying to bring that scoop in again. Pain trying to get that spinner at those wheels, which are heavily exposed now. More damage being done there to the chassis now of Deator. Well, there's no armour left on it. They can't rip off any more armour panels, can they? There we go, nearly flicking Dietor there as well, Pain. Now, we've seen how powerful that spinner is and how good it is at lifting robots. It's sent to Jeff Toot Fabulous a good 3 inches in the air in its heat. And a well-timed hit from that spinner could very well see Dietor flung up and over, at which point I think it would be game over for the Irish lads. But fair play to them, they are still on the attack here and using their scoop effectively. Pushing and pinning Pain into that arena sidewall, and if they could get another good push in like that, they could well have Pain down the pit, so don't count out the fur-brained Irish machine just yet. Even though, let's be honest, if this was to go to the judges, oh, right now, it's quite obvious that Pain would win. Look at it, there's nothing left. This chassis around the wheels has been absolutely mullered and destroyed. Pain trying to go for those wheels and do some damage, and I think they have now. Yes, look, that wheel, that exposed wheel there, look, I think it's bent out of shape or something because it's not touching the floor. It's spinning, yes, but it's not gaining any purchase. Deirdre's just going in circles, and even the bucket scoop now being damaged. How on earth has Deirdre survived this long? They're still moving somehow, and I think they're just going to survive to a judge's decision. Biggest respects to them for that much.
6.
But being honest, I don't think it's going to take the judges long to decide who's won this one. Pain, one scary machine. Pain came in and gave Dietor a right smack, and when Irish eyes are smiling, we'll punch them till they're black. That was incredible damage there from Pain. Tearing Dietor limb from limb. Armor panels going everywhere, but Dietor, to their credit, did manage to keep running to the end of the fight, and they were on the aggressive for several parts of that battle. Look, there's barely anything left of it, and they were still on the attack here, pinning Pain against the arena sidewall, but unfortunately it takes a little bit more than that to win these things, and the damage there speaks for itself.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Pain! The road may end here for the Polka Dot Machine, but they can be proud of finally breaking their winning duck in style. Pain, meanwhile, continues to show why it's one of the favourites, even in a full fight as they march on. They will face the winner of our next bout between Agro Wobber and P1.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So, a battle between two flat, low, four-wheel drive blue machines. Agro Wobber seeded 20th for the whole series, but ranked 5th for this bracket, is the favourite due to that ranking. Or even though P1 is actually seeded 4 places higher at 16th. Clementine darting towards the pit release button and releasing the pit because P1 is underneath Agro Wobber here and could try and steer them towards the pit. Clementine now coming over to try and help out his little brother. Remember, it's Clementine. That is its name. You can trust me, I'm an expert on these things. And down comes the hammer on Agro Wobber there. Onto the top of P1. P1 was able to back away. Now Agro Wobber pushing Clementine back and bringing the hammer down on there with a little gentle tap. I think they were feeling a little bit bad about squashing the little machine that is Clementine. P1 coming in for another attack here. P1 isn't as quick as it's been in previous fights, is it? I'm wondering if they're struggling with mobility issues in this battle this early on. They certainly seem to be. They seem to sort of dredge forwards or backwards and then just stop completely. They started strong, managing to get underneath Agro Wobber and nearly flicked them over a couple of times, but after that, it has struggled. And I'm wondering if those hits from the hammer of Agro Wobber were enough to take out something internally on P1. They are okay now, though, pushing them back towards that pit button. The pit button's already been pressed, by the way, guys. It's already down. Look, if you notice, just look to your right hand side, guys. You'll see it. There's certainly something wrong with P1 here, isn't there, though? Whether it's reception problems or internal problems, I'm not too sure. But they aren't moving as smoothly as they were at the beginning of this fight, or as smoothly as they have done earlier on in this series. There's little Clementine moving better than his big brother at the moment. The problem is, Clementine's the mini-bot. So if P1 is out, they are both out. That is the rules of Lego Wars. P1 is not doing anything here. Down comes the hammer once again on Agro Wobber there. Really hitting them hard. It doesn't look like the most couth of machines, Agro, but it is a very sturdy, very well-built machine with a frighteningly powerful hammer, and they've done damage to themselves. Their top panel's been smashed by their own hammer. But P1 is being counted out. They've got 5 seconds to move here, or they are done for. And I'm afraid to say they are definitely done for. Clementine throws itself down the pit in disgust. P1 are out. And Agro Wobber go through to the round of 8, to the quarterfinals. They've made a heck of a dent in this tournament so far. Now bringing the hammer down, and P1 nearly throwing itself down the pit as well. Oh dear. P1 definitely started the stronger underneath Agro Wobber, trying to get that lifter involved, but unfortunately they weren't able to capitalise on that attack. And after that, I think it was these hits here from Agro Wobber. They must have knocked something loose in P1, because after that, P1 did not run smoothly for the rest of the fight. It may look like they were on the attack there, but they were barely pushing them, to be honest. And Agro Wobber came back strong towards the end, and P1 were a sitting duck. Ouch.
As P1's charge runs out of gas, it's Agro Wobber who'll face the uphill task of fighting pain in next week's grand final. We'll jump over to the top right corner now as the second seed's Atlas face the giant killer's Crossbow.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Atlas will certainly start as the favourite for this one. They are seeded second for the series overall, also ranked 15th. Crossbow, though, are a respectable ranked 31st, despite being a reserve for this series, but they're being pinned against the sidewall by Atlas here, and Atlas have got them on their end. And I don't know if Crossbow can get down from there. Yes, they can, but Atlas, good driving there, keeping them pinned into the arena sidewall, and I don't think Crossbow can get back now, or can they? They're trying desperately to push themselves away from the sidewall using their 4-bar lifter, and they do so, just managing to crash back down. Great work there by Crossbow. They are still in this fight then. Atlas certainly has the lower ground at the front, so they're winning the ground game, but Crossbow does have the lance, and I wonder if they're going to try and use that lance. Yes, look, try and pluck the tracks maybe of Atlas. Good tactics there by the Green Machine, the UK's only 4-bar Lego lifter. I think, I don't know. Ask around. I don't know the facts at all. Atlas trying to get underneath Crossbow. Crossbow have released the pit, and I tell you what, a well-timed push from Crossbow could actually see Atlas down that pit. Don't forget, Crossbow, when it works, is a very quick machine with very good pushing power due to its 4-wheel drive. Atlas, meanwhile, has the grippy tracks, has the lifting bucket scoop, but it does over-topple when trying to lift robots at points. A good slam there by Crossbow. This is a really good battle here between these two, isn't it? Two very different machines, but with similar tactics. The aim, essentially, to get under one another and lift them over. However, Crossbow once again now being pushed back and pinned into the side wall. Can Atlas take advantage of this? I thought for a minute that they were going to overbalance again, but they were able to bring themselves back and lifting Crossbow into the air again and again, toppling them against the arena side wall. Great work there. And I think this time Crossbow are a little bit too far away from the side wall. Look, have you noticed there's a gap there between the robot and the side wall, and that means their lifter cannot gain the necessary purchase to knock themselves back on their wheels. And I think that's it now for the Swedish machine. Oh, what a shame. They did so well to get this far. They made it to the round of 16 despite being reserves in their heat. You can't fault them for that, but they were beaten by a superior machine in Atlas. That was a great battle. Well done, Atlas. Atlas proving why it was seeded second overall, and why it was a bit of a surprise it only got ranked 15th for the bracket. Dominant performance early on in this fight. Crossbow, to their credit, did try their hardest. They used their lance to a good effect. Got underneath Atlas a couple of times as well, but Atlas was better driven in the end, and with a superior lifting bucket scoop was able to pin Crossbow against the side wall and eventually upend it again, and this time Crossbow weren't able to right themselves, leaving Atlas as the winners. Can they go one step further this time?
A vintage performance from Atlas there as they move on to a second consecutive grand final, while Crossbow can take solace in their performance this year from going from the reserves bench all the way to the top 16. Next up is the War of Woodrow between the rookies Emulator and the 7th seed's Chompy Evo.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So a battle of two Woodrow representatives here. Emulator versus Chompy Evo. Chompy Evo will start as the favourites here. Not only are they higher ranked, not only do they have more experience, they're also seeded 7th overall for this series of LEGO Wars. So definitely on paper the favourites. Though don't count Emulator out. Despite a very disappointing heat run and its low ranking, it did very well in the round of 32 to beat number 4 seeds Mecha Bowser using good driving and aggression. So watch out for it in this battle. Of course, Chompy renowned for its good driving, so we could see some good tactical driving in this fight between these two. I'm not too sure how much damage is going to be done. Emulator's made several contacts with Chompy Evo so far. It hasn't really done much damage. Chompy Evo, of course, will try and bring in that grabbing, lifting weapon. Will try and cause a suplex here or two. We shall see if they know their judo well, of course. But for me personally, Emulator is actually winning this one at the moment. They have used better driving so far. They've definitely got better hits in as well. The pit button has gone down. So, who will end up in the pit if any of these two machines? Chompy is certainly having problems with the arena floor. I think it's a little bit too low at the front. It keeps catching the arena floor. It's not the first time it's happened in this series, don't forget either. But they had definitely got the ground game advantage. You just saw it there against Emulator. And again, look. Bits and pieces flying now, although I don't think there was anything major. I think it was just a little bit of superficial damage there. Emulator's spinner, you know, it hasn't caused the damage we thought it would in this fight. Is there something wrong with it? Remember, it broke very early on in their fight against Mecha Bowser, which is why it was such a surprise it won. That just shows you how good the driving was in that fight. Chompy, meanwhile, has never really managed to get a good use of that weapon. They got some good use of it against Block of Napalm, but that was it. Apart from that, we haven't really seen that weapon this series. And that is a shame. We were really excited to see that 4-bar grabber-lifter combination. This has been a bit of a tedious fight so far, hasn't it? Both of them are sort of feeling each other out, almost as if they don't want to do much damage to one another. It's almost as if they're both a bit scared of each other, to be honest. Now, Chompy Evo here! Oh, I thought there was going to have Emulator down the pit, but Emulator were able to turn away. That was good driving. Who's been the more aggressive of these two? Who's been the more controlled? I'm honestly not too sure. Emulator certainly, I think, has been the more damaging machine due to something. But then again, those pieces on the floor appear to be Emulators, not Chompy's. So, your guess is as good as mine. What's Chompy doing? Oh my goodness, I thought they were going to throw themselves down the pit, and they have! What are they doing? They managed to get away from the pit, and then they went and threw themselves in anyway. That is terrible driving. Oh, come on. I honestly think Chompy got a little bit bored there and decided to put itself out of its misery because, being honest, it wasn't the biggest of spectacles, was it, that battle? Neither machine really could get to grips with one another, and despite a few bits of contact made here and there, neither machine was really able to get an upper hand. I'm kind of glad it didn't go to the judges in a way because I honestly have no idea how they would have called that. It was very much split down the middle. Emulator might have been winning, but honestly, it was very close. And then Chompy, despite avoiding the pit once, then decided to go throw themselves in it a second time. Because why not?
That driving error sums up Chompy Evo's season as they failed to make the top 8 in the tournament for the first time. We'll move down to the most unpredictable corner of the bracket now and a chance for 2Jeff2 Fabulous to get revenge from the semi-finals last year against the champs Waddle D2.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Big fight this one, two very dangerous spinners going head to head. Waddle D2, our reigning champions of course, although they took a little bit of damage there courtesy of 2Jeff2 Fabulous. Now 2Jeff2 Fabulous beat Sweepy to get this far, but it still wasn't quite on the level we expected it to be. Have they finally fixed those problems that were given to it due to pain in its heat? I'm not too sure. They don't seem to be spinning as well in this fight. Waddle D2 for me certainly has got the more potent spinner for this battle. They should do really be, considering they are the reigning champions. Bringing that spinner in, 2Jeff2 Fabulous, despite managing to fix itself, it really is still struggling, I think. Waddle D2 spinner having no problems getting up to speed, but 2Jeff2 Fabulous, they spin it, it spins for a bit, then it stops, it spins, it stops. They're certainly still having issues. I don't think it's going to be much longer until we see bits of rainbow scattered across the arena floor. It really is a much better arena this series than Lego Wars, isn't it? There's so much more room and space for the robots to move around. We're having some absolutely fantastic fights because of it. 2Jeff2 Fabulous almost using itself as a thwack bot there. It's almost as if they've given up on even trying to use their spinner. Well, they are spinning it. No, they're not. Are they? Aren't they? Are they? Aren't they? I honestly have no idea. Waddle D2, meanwhile, I think speaks for all of us when we say that we can't stand Rainbow Road from Mario Kart and is going to get revenge for all of us by splattering them, or at least trying to, though I will admit they haven't caused as much damage as I thought they would at this stage of this fight. Waddle D2. Meanwhile, I think Jeff's weapon is completely stopped. No! And the armor pieces going littered across the arena, as I thought they might do eventually. 2F2 Fabulous trying its sit and spin tactic, which can only tell me one thing. Their weapon is completely done for. No, it's not. It is spinning. It's spinning. Oh my goodness. Their spinner is absolutely spinning. And it didn't stop on that attack. It did on that one though. Come on. Can you get it back? Come on. Get it running, guys. Get it running. Come on. Come on. Spin, spin, spin. You can do it. You can do it. Waddle D2 attacking our Perspex side. Well, I don't think so. How dare you? That was very expensive. That came out of my paycheck, hence why I didn't get paid for this series of LEGO Wars. And now something's gone wrong with Waddle D2, or has it? Oh, I genuinely don't know. 2F2 Fabulous, and he threw itself into the pit as well. It's all happening now in the latter half of this battle. Waddle D2 causing more damage there, though, to 2F2 Fabulous. Or was that damage to its spinner? I think it might have been. The spinner's wobbling a little bit there. Now the chains come off of 2F2 Fabulous' spinner, so finally the weapon has in fact given up the ghost. Fantastic. I don't know what's going on. It's all happening out there and I can't keep up. We're into the final 10 seconds. This is going to go to the judges, which is a surprise to me actually. I didn't think 2F2 Fabulous was going to last this long. Well done to them for that much, but I think Waddle D2 has just pipped this one. But we'll have to see what the judges think. For me, Waddle D2 was the more aggressive throughout. 2F2 Fabulous really did struggle to get off the mark. They got stuck on the spikes, they took many a hit. Their spinner was really struggling at the beginning of this fight and all. But they did eventually start getting it to spin up to speed once some damage was done to them by Waddle D2. Here, look. Causing horrendous damage there, and after that 2F2 Fabulous suddenly woke up only for their weapon chain to then get smashed there, and I think that damage is enough to pip it for Waddle D2, but we'll see.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Waddle D2. Despite not getting the KO this time, Waddle D2 once again put in a champion performance to grind out the victory. They'll face the winner of our next fight between two underdogs, Shatterstar and Tantrum.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
A true battle of underdogs this one. Tantrum versus Shatterstar. Neither machine was expected to get this far in this bracket. Shatterstar, of course, somehow managed to beat Bricker Brother, strong favourites to go far in this series. Meanwhile, Tantrum managed to beat reigning international champions Duck, who were ranked 3rd for the bracket, so neither machine was expected to make it here, yet here we are. Who's going to win out of these two immovable underdogs? The pit has been released by Shatterstar. Their tracks turning madly, but unable to get any purchase to push Tantrum back, bringing the axe down onto that spinner. Is that wise? They could damage their weapon, but at the same time, they could damage Tantrum's. I'm not too sure Tantrum's got the reach there. They've lost one of their eyes. Will that be a decisive point in this fight? Maybe. Down comes Shatterstar again. It is a very well aimed axe, isn't it, that one of Shatterstar? It really does know all the right places to get in their opponents now, although Tantrum going for the tracks, and they were lucky there that their track wasn't broken by that spinner. Now, Shatterstar being pushed into the corner by Tantrum. Is Shatterstar okay? The axe certainly didn't seem it there. It was barely moving, and now the robot's barely moving. Are they okay, or are they done for here? Tantrum coming in for more shots with that spinner. I must admit, we haven't seen much damage in this one. Then again, were we expecting it? Oh dear, well, one of Shatterstar's top panels has been ripped away now. So we have seen some destruction from that spinner in this fight. Down comes the axe of Shatterstar once again onto the wheel arch there of Tantrum. And oh, getting it right behind the spinner, and again, and again, and again, and again. So they could definitely get that axe into the right places. But can they use it effectively enough and take advantage of those attacks? I'm not too sure, and I think they're having some sort of issues with their drive because they sort of move and then stop, although they are actually pushing Tantrum back now. Good pushing power there. Trying their speed again, but now once again Tantrum pushing them back. In comes Shatterstar again. Good fight this. Again, two very different machines, neither of which were expected to go this far, giving it their all. This is what LEGO Wars is about, in my opinion. It's not all about destruction and carnage. It's about two very good, interesting machines giving it a good fight. And if they could cause a few upsets along the way, even better. And that's exactly what these two have done, especially Tantrum. Seeded 30th for this bracket. They barely made it out of their heat, don't forget. But I'd say they're potentially winning this one on damage. They've only lost an eye, don't forget. Meanwhile, Shatterstar's lost that whole top panel. Shatterstar very close to the pit. Oh, so's Tantrum. Almost trying to guide them towards the pit. We are in the final 7 seconds, and it is going to go to the judges unless something big happens soon. It's not going to. Good, hard-fought fight there between two machines. Very close and a very tough one for the judges. Tantrum, for me, I think did the more damage, but the question is, was Shatterstar controlled and aggressive enough to make up for that? They certainly showed good aggression early on with their axe, but I think this point here might have been their Achilles heel for this fight. They stopped for a while in that corner and managed to take severe damage. And I'm wondering if that will be enough to swing it for Tantrum, although to be fair to Shatterstar, they did come back with some good pushing and got several good axe shots in later on in this fight. I really have no idea. This could go either way.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Tantrum. And so it's Tantrum who'll get the chance to challenge the defending champs in the grand final. We'll move back up to the final corner of the bracket and a penultimate fight in the round of 16 with two of the standout performers from this year in 23 Red and Megalovania. Dustpan and Brush on standby.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
I certainly think this is going to be the most destructive battle of the round of 16 due to the destructive potential of both these machines. The frighteningly scary spinning discs of 23 Red, but don't forget about that vertical bar spinner of Megalovania, although once again the front wedge is proving to be the weak point of the machine. One of them has been torn completely off, one of them has been split into many pieces, but to be fair to Megalovania, they have caused serious damage at the 23 Red spinner. However, I think the damage is evenly distributed, so I don't think it's actually going to be overbalanced, and therefore should still spin perfectly fine. Yes, indeedy. So they still have two perfectly functional spinners, as proved by that. Off comes the other wedge. Megalovania have been destroyed in this fight so far. Oh dear. Megalovania, I'll be honest, they were my favourites to win this fight. Oh, and they've caused huge damage now to one of the discs of 23 Red. That disc that's not spinning has been split. Look, part of the corner of it's come off. So Megalovania, don't count them out just yet, although I do think the weapon bracket has now been severed. Can you see that little bit there poking out the front of the machine? Like some sort of discarded twig or something from a tree. Megalovania now hitting the pit button. They're brave, they think they can push 23 Red down the pit. I don't even think Megalovania has that much pushing power, does it? They did really well to get this far. They absolutely mullered Waddle M in the last round, don't forget. Damage has been done now to the side of 23 Red as well. Oh! Megalovania! Oh dear, Megalovania's spinner has just been... And I don't think there's much left now in that machine. It's still driving to its credit, we'll give it that much. 23 Red isn't in much better shape itself. One of its weapons has been taken out of action, part of its chassis has been split, one of the side panels is gone, and to be fair to Megalovania, they are still on the aggressive and they're still trying to push them. That's not something I expected to see with this level of damage. Who do Megalovania think they are? Block Dougal? Come on lads, you can't keep moving after this much damage surely. 23 Red and both spinners have now taken damage. Look. Oh, it's all happening out there right now. This is one of the most chaotic fights I've ever seen in LEGO Wars. And I saw Petunia versus Waddle M, don't forget. All those months and years ago. However long it was, I can't remember. I'm a senile old man, don't forget. And somehow Megalovania have made it this far in this fight, and it's going to go to the judges unless something drastic happens. It's not going to. And even though I think they're done for here, fair play to the machine for lasting as well as it did. That was a good fight. One for the history books for sure. Megalovania, don't forget, was seeded 19th for this series overall, so this is a bit of an upset here, 23 Red doing this much damage. Considering they're a rookie, ripping off one of the side wedges, Megalovania did manage to do their own fair share of damage over to 23 Red, damaging both of their weapons and taking off a side panel, but look at the sheer destruction done to Megalovania. both wedges gone, the chassis mullered. Eventually the weapon bracket was destroyed and then the weapon completely fell out of the robot, but fair play to Megalovania, they kept going to the end, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Good fight though.
And the winner by unanimous decision is 23 Red. What an amazing performance from 23 Red to dismember Megalovania to take the JD win. Megalovania will need a full rebuild over the winter, but they can be pleased in not giving up the fight. Now all that remains is for Panic Attack and Petunia to do battle once more. In the last 2 occasions, Panic Attack has dominated with 2 pittings, so the pressure is on Petunia to finally turn the tables. Let's see who will take the final place in the grand final.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Every sport has that one great rivalry. Football has Man United versus Liverpool. Baseball has the Yankees versus the Red Sox. And Lego Wars has Petunia versus Panic Attack. And Petunia looking to get revenge on Panic Attack, the #1 ranked robot for this bracket, seeded 3rd overall, the former champions. Petunia and Panic Attack have fought each other twice in the past. Both times won by Panic Attack. So Panic Attack will be the strong favourites going into this one. Not only because of their former success and their ranking, but because of those 2 victories. But Petunia want this more than anything. They want their victory. They want to get revenge against the Robot Wars legend. A BattleBots legend versus a Robot Wars legend. It happens quite a lot on LEGO Wars, but not with as much venom and as much vinegar as this one. Petunia certainly the more aggressive of these 2 at the moment. Certainly the more in control. Petunia back this series of LEGO Wars with a vengeance. I think everyone can agree with that. Pinning Panic Attack against the arena side wall now. Panic Attack squeezing away. Will they try and get the pit down, or will they think it's a bit too risky with Petunia, knowing how good of a pusher it is and knowing how good it is at grabbing robots and shoving them down the pit? Underneath Petunia now is Panic Attack trying to pluck them away. Petunia's side wedges have sort of popped out there, almost like it's T-posing. The pit button has been pressed and Petunia nearly had Panic Attack down. And now trying to climb the arena side wall again. Lads, trust me, you can't climb out the arena as much as you want to try. You just can't. This is not going to be one of the most destructive fights in LEGO Wars, being honest, but that's not what it's all about. It's about tactics, it's about good driving, and it's about 2 very good robots who both respect yet despise one another. Trying to see who is the best. Can Petunia regain its vengeance here against Panic Attack, the machine that has humiliated it twice in the past? It's underneath Panic Attack and it's trying to bring the claw down into the exposed weapon area. Can they do damage to the lifting forks? And can they get that good push in? Panic Attack are right on the edge of the pit here. Can Panic Attack get away, or will Petunia have them in? No! Panic Attack just managing to get away, but they are still next to the pit. And now getting away. That was good evasive driving from Panic Attack. This is one heck of a battle here, and what a way to end the round of 16. One of these 2 machines will take our final spot in the quarter-finals of this, the 3rd series of LEGO Wars. It is a space that both machines want. Panic Attack, don't forget, have become 1st and 3rd. They've never failed to make the top 4. Their pride is on the line. Oh, for a minute there, I thought the Petunia were done for. I thought they were done for there, but they were just able to survive. Can they continue this onslaught? Because for me at the moment, they're just on top, but Panic Attack are slowly but surely coming back. We're in the final 10 seconds. This is going to go to the judges. What a fight it was. What an end to the round of 16. I have no idea how this is going to go. What a fight that was. Great stuff. Whew. That was a battle of pride, respect, and vengeance. Both these machines, they know each other very well, of course. And you could tell. I've never seen Petunia as aggressive as it was in this battle. I certainly feel it was the more aggressive machine. Panic Attack, though, were no slouches themselves. Managed to get several attacks on Petunia as well. I think, personally, Panic Attack was the more controlled robot. It all comes down to that delightful damage. Was the claw of Petunia damaging enough to sway this one towards them for the judges? I genuinely have no idea. Let's get to the verdict.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Petunia. The top-ranked machine has fallen as Petunia adds another upset to Series 3 and finally beating Panic Attack to claim the last place in the grand final. It's been another outstanding night of action in the round of 16 as just 4 of our 20 seeds remained with a chance alongside 4 brilliant rookies. All of them deserve the title, but only one of them can take it. Join us next week as we'll find out who will raise the trophy. For now though, I've been your host David Smeg, and we'll see you in the final.
What a fight that was. Great stuff. Whew. Oh, I died.